Okay, I know it's a little bit strange to talk about DLC and expansions for Doom Eternal because Doom Eternal itself is not even out yet, but they will also be the lifespan for Doom Eternal. Without the expansion or DLC, it's not likely going to survive as long as it would do if they were there. So they are very important, and we actually know a fair few things about the DLC already for Doom Eternal, especially the single player campaign DLC that we're going to be getting. Currently, information is fairly brief from what we know, of course, but there is still a fair few things worth mentioning and is actually quite interesting. First thing is actually how much DLC we're going to get in year 1. And we now know from statements by id and of course the actual pre-order bonus for Doom Eternal that there will be 2 year 1 expansion packs for Doom Eternal's campaign. So from its release in November now until November or maybe December next year, we're going to get 2 separate DLCs to download and play for Doom Eternal. Now they look like they might be based upon the same thing, but they're going to be 2, which I'm guessing separate missions or set of missions or story for us to download and play year 1. We don't know how long this DLC is going to be. My best bet is that it might just be actually just one level, because we now know some levels in Doom Eternal will take 2+ hours to complete if you're going for 100% playthrough, or even just a casual playthrough they still can take an hour and a half. The level shown, or all the gameplay shown at QuakeCon and E3 was just one singular level, and that had many parts cut out of the map, so we know levels are going to be very long, and it would make sense if we only got 1 or 2 levels as DLC, because obviously it's not going to be longer than the actual game, or you never know, maybe the DLC will take about 6 hours each. So anyway, that's pretty cool. We're going to get 2 DLC campaign add-ons for Doom Eternal year 1, and of course it actually states year 1, so that suggests there will be even more coming in the future. So maybe this will be a yearly thing until the next Doom comes out, or maybe this will be the final Doom that will sort of go on for many years to come. I don't know, but the way it says year 1 gives me hope that we're going to see quite a few actual DLC add-ons coming for Doom Eternal along the way for many years to come, instead of just the first year, because some games only have 1 or 2 separate DLCs come out and then sort of forgotten about. Either way, it's going to be better than it was in Doom 2016, because of course in Doom 2016 we didn't get any at all, so nice step up there. So yep, we're getting 2 single player add-on campaigns year 1, but that's not all the information we know. We actually know a little bit on what these DLC will be based on, the sort of story in these DLCs. So we know that it looks like it's going to be very similar in each one, but probably just different scenarios and events that happen in each DLC. So here is an actual statement on the pre-order deluxe edition of Doom Eternal. This is what it has to say about the DLC. And here is the pre-order bonus details. As we can see on the bottom statement, that we're going to be getting 2 campaign add-ons for Doom Eternal. And of course, as we can see, the very last sentence says, these standalone stories explore the events that led to Earth's fall against the demons. First of all, it says standalone stories. So they're going to be completely different stories, but my guess, obviously, as it says here, they're going to be in the same, well, around about the same time when Earth fell to the demons. So the story is going to mainly focus around when Earth is actually being attacked by hell. So maybe we're going to see Earth when it looks normal, or when it was on the brink of collapse, and we actually get to see the hell portals opening up on Earth, and we get to see exactly what and how this happened on Earth. So maybe we got to see if this was actually a planned attack, or if it was just a last resort for humans trying to find some sort of way of survival, or if the UAC had problems and they was trying to stop it, or whatever the story is going to be. We're going to find this out in one of these campaigns, or of course both of them. And the other interesting thing about this is that maybe this time we won't be playing as the Doom Slayer, because it looks like they're both going to take place at the same time when Earth is falling. That just leaves the one question: will we be playing as the Slayer in these DLC? Because if these are both standalone stories and it's supposed to be taking place at the same time, Doom Guy can't be at two different places at once. The only thing they can do here is the first DLC is the start of the invasion, and the second DLC is a bit further into the invasion on Earth. But I got a feeling we're going to be playing as two completely different new characters actually in this DLC. I'm not sure who these characters would be. Maybe they go for a throwback name like Crash or Phobos or something like that, or maybe it'll be someone completely new. Or if the story builds up to it, maybe this will actually be the original Doom Guy, if they are different people, which at the minute Doom Eternal is trying to set up. So maybe there actually is an original Doom Guy somewhere out there who takes place and fights along the demons in this DLC instead of the Doom Slayer. This is one of the things Hugo and Marty keep teasing about Doom Eternal, because we get to find out if the Doom Slayer is actually the original Doom Guy or not. Maybe the original Doom Guy is actually a completely different person that takes sort of place in like a half alternative world that sort of takes place in the same universe but is a completely different person, or maybe just in a completely different timeline or something along them lines. What if that Doom Guy is actually a completely different person and B, doing pretty much the same thing as the Doom Guy? So maybe the story could be the same, either someone who's sent to Mars and then sent to Phobos to investigate the attack, and then the whole story goes on from there. Maybe the story is the same, but it just takes place at the exact same time as the Doom Slayer story that we're seeing and playing now in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Maybe they do both exist in the same timeline, or maybe they are just the same person. But if there is another Doom Guy, he'd be the most perfect fit for the role in the DLC. So we play as the Slayer in the main game and the original Doom Guy in the DLC. Or it might just all just be a random guess, and of course we could just play as the original Doom Slayer in the DLC as well. So anyway, what do you think of the DLC so far? Do you think it's awesome? Obviously we don't know too much yet because the main game is not out yet. But of what we've seen so far, do you feel like that's going to build up enough hype for the DLC? Do you think 2 Year 1 add-ons is enough, or too little? And of course, do you think focusing 2 DLCs on the same story, is that going to be good, or do you think that's kind of unnecessary and they should try and add a bit more variety in the story? So maybe the second DLC actually focusing on Sentinel Homeworld or something. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.